start, man. Hey, this is Saravanan Ganesh, and I'm excited today because I have one of the most foremost paid ads expert that I know of. I think one of the top 10 in the industry easily, Daniel Veiga. Hey, Danny, welcome.
Thank you for having me on.
I know we've been going back and forth for about at least a year trying to get you on.
Right.
That's crazy. That's crazy, you know. So just so you know, just so everybody knows, for those of you who don't know who you are, I want to see if I can do an introduction. I can do justice to the introduction, right? So this is Daniel Veiga, Facebook ads expert, now TikTok ads expert, all kinds of paid ads expert. You run an agency, a seven-figure agency, right?
Correct.
You run a Facebook group about 50,000 entrepreneurs, if I'm not wrong.
Yep, a little bit more, 65, but close.
Wow. Okay. You had your Facebook ads course, and I remember buying that a few years ago. I'm not sure if you still run that course.
No, I haven't. That was 6 years ago. I ran it for a good year, and then I stopped that one.
Awesome. So you're running an agency. I see posts from you saying you're getting 1 cent leads for chiropractors. I mean, that's like this. The only other thing you can do is get it for free. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, I wish it were that low. It's not actually 1 cent. You know, I might have gone 1 cent way back in the day, but you know, now I've transitioned over to more of TikTok ads. And I think the other night, after midnight, they were coming in at 50 cents a piece. But still, you know, very, very inexpensive nowadays compared to what, you know, what most other people get.
Yeah, so we'll dive into that, but I'm still doing the introduction. So here's Daniel Veiga, Facebook ads expert, now TikTok ads expert, runs a seven-figure agency. He freaking is awake the whole night and sleeps in the morning, right? On that. Okay. I'm excited, man. I'm just excited to have you on the show. So welcome, Danny. I appreciate your time here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, let's just start with your background, right? So way before you got into online marketing, what was your background? What were you doing? Who are you? Where are you from? And then maybe you can let us know how you even got into the world of online marketing and paid ads and all that.
Sure. So when I first had my job, when I got my first job, I was doing telemarketing. It was sales. Sucked. I think I got fired after a month and a half because I didn't close anything on the phone. Okay. So between like the age of 16 to about 22, I probably went through about 22 different jobs. I also dropped out of 4 different colleges as well. So, you know, anyone would have thought by then, like, you know, this loser is just, you know, being fired or quitting jobs all the time and dropping out of college. Like, you know, those type of people are not going to amount to anything, you know. But
your high school yearbook probably said most likely to fail.
I don't think it said that, but it really didn't say anything. All I had on there was just my photo. I didn't have any, you know, quotes or pages about me or anything. So I was just, you know, if you knew where I was, then that's the only place you'd find me. Okay. But so, you know, I had a lot of different jobs, a lot of different colleges. So I knew being stuck to like that type of world, it wasn't going to be me at all. You know, I always had that mentality that I was going to strive for something, you know, better and, you know, bigger and better for my future family that I'd have, you know. So I took a web design class in high school. I think this was my junior year, 11th grade for those of you not in the US. And I took a web design class and I enjoyed it. And that got me triggered to really starting my agency 15 years ago, which I was doing freelance web design, you know.
So you were doing web design way before then. Okay.
Right. So my very first agency was just me by myself. You know, I was able to hit 6 figures in about a year and a half, but I worked 80 hours a week, nonstop. So I pretty much, my niche really was going after web design companies that didn't have enough money to hire an in-house developer. And I was pretty much their go-to freelancer at the time. So I had about 5 or 6 good, solid clients that would just feed me work consistently. And that's how
you would do the web design development.
Right.
Was it WordPress back then? Was it HTML? What was it?
It was a lot of HTML templates, Code Igniter, using like Expression Engine was the platform at the time that I used. WordPress was starting to come around as well. So it was a mix of different things. I used Joomla, Drupal. That's old. A lot of different e-commerce platforms as well that were kind of like old school. But
This was like
Expression Engine and
2008,
WordPress.
2009 time?
15 years ago, this was
2006, 2007.
yeah, somewhere on there.
Wow. So you really came up like the school of hard knocks, really 4 different colleges, 16 different jobs. And then you started this, and it looks like you were pretty successful, 6 figures by yourself in 2007 or so.
Yeah, it took me about 1.5 years to really hit that 6-figure mark. Probably almost 2 years, because I started in Florida. Then we moved to California. Actually, no, a little bit longer, maybe 2.5 years to hit 6-figure a year. Then from California, we were there for about 1.5 years. Then we moved here to Texas. So then, as soon as we moved here, within about a month, that's when I hit my first 5-figure month mark. So that was about a good 2.5 year span.
So probably the 2008 was the recession time. Were you affected by that?
No, if that's when it hits, no, because my son, he was born in 2008. We moved to Texas in 2009 in summer. And that's when I hit September of 2009 was when I hit my first 5-figure month. And from there, I just scaled up.
It looks like the real estate recession and all that time, you were doing pretty good.
Yeah, at that time, yeah.
Awesome. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, okay, keep going. So you got into web design, you had a thriving agency, and then, okay, what happened afterwards?
Yeah. So I did that for about 8 years. I mean, just working 80 hours a week. I was tired of not so much of the work, but I was tired of chasing the money. Because at that time, it wasn't a passive type of model, right? I did the work, I'd build the clients, and then they'd have to wait for their clients to pay them and then to pay me. So sometimes I would wait 3 to 4 months, So even though, I was still doing just over 100,000 a year, we were still kind of like that paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. It still took some time for us to get paid. We didn't have money saved up or anything like that. So I knew that was not going to be sustainable for like the next 10 years.
Right. So you could see the futures. Now, quick question on that. When you were doing web design, you had this agency. What was search engine optimization even a thing? Were you optimizing the website for anything at all, or was it just web design?
So I did do a little bit of SEO. That's kind of when I got started with SEO and understanding how it worked. So I was able to rank stuff, but that wasn't my main priority. The main thing was just building out these sites for their clients, for my clients' clients.
Okay. All right. So you're a thriving agency, but you knew the future was not, you couldn't be chasing clients.
Right. Exactly. So now I have to think back, because at some point I know I let go of my clients 3 different times. And I told this story before, but I can't think of those 3 different scenarios. Okay. But there was one point that, that's when I finally joined Facebook. So I had that agency for about 8 years. I did that for a long time. Then I joined Facebook. Then I started following different people. And I was like, okay, Facebook ads seems to be kind of like the hip thing now that people are doing. Let me kind of get into this model because it's passive income. I can, charge, 500, 1,000, whatever it is a month, get paid, then do the work. And then it's repeatable. So that's kind of when started piquing my curiosity.
Facebook ads. Okay.
All right.
So who were like your first clients for Facebook ads? What were you doing? What was your first client? How much did they pay you? Like, what were the results? Anything on those? So
my very first client at the time, I still had a part-time job. This was fast forward. We were already living in Texas. We were in McAllen, to be exact. So we were about 2 years into Texas already. And, we moved a bunch of times between me and my wife. We've been there for 20 years and we've moved probably 18 times already. So between moving, all these jobs, dropping out of college, it's like I'm all over the place, So I had this part-time job. I worked for an LED lighting company. So they provided LED solutions for nightclubs, for churches, restaurants, all that kind of stuff. Really high-end LED company. And so I worked in their kind of technical division, more for optimizing their website. I was doing SEO for them, just improving their user experience. And at that time I was learning Facebook ads. I was understanding it, and I asked them, hey, let's run some Facebook ads for you guys. So that was my very first experience with running Facebook ads was for that LED lighting company.
That's a local company, or was it national? Was it e-commerce?
They were worldwide. They were small, but they were a global company. They had clients all over the world.
Okay, so you were on the web design team, and you basically said, "I'm learning this, and let me try it on you."
Yep. Yeah. I was the only one on the team for the web design. That was really like the only position they were fulfilling, because they had that gap. So I was like, you know what? It's some extra income. Clients are slowing down. I'm not wanting to do that web design, freelancing agency anymore. Let me just get that job and see where it goes from there.
Okay.
So that's where I started. Actually, that was my first client, more of a test run to see how Facebook ads would work for them. And it did well. We did lots of video view campaigns. They got millions of views on their videos, a lot of retargeting. We even did some downloads of their PDF catalogs. That was a huge success for them. We were getting downloads.
Numbers, like how much ad spend did they spend? How much revenue did it generate? On those?
I have it somewhere. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Was it 2x, 3x, 10x?
Oh, it was. I'd say probably closer to like maybe 7, 10x.
Wow.
Yeah, they were getting downloads. We were using at that time, I think it was just lead ads for a PDF download, and they were getting 10, 15 cent downloads.
Now this PDF would then sell the product, or was it like information and then email?
It was a catalog. Yeah. So they had just,
okay.
Because I asked them, I'm like, okay, you have this catalog that you ship out. Why don't we create a PDF where people can download it? We would just run ads for the download. And they're like,
your
okay.
idea.
Right. Awesome. It was my idea. And yeah, so I mean, it did really well. We ran it in different languages, and French and Spanish was a big hit. Those were most of our like 10-cent leads.
Wow.
And then English did well, as and then from there they had a sales team where they would just follow up. They had like 2 sales guys, and they would just follow up with all the leads and just get them on the phone and see what they needed.
They must have loved you.
Yeah, I think so. I still talk to them now, so we still have kind of a relationship.
So was this what 2012, 13, 14 timeframe?
So we moved to Texas 2009 to about 2 years later, 2011.
Okay.
Well, yeah, about 10 years ago.
Okay. All right. So then that's how you said, okay, you're pretty confident you can get results with Facebook ads.
Right. So I was like, okay, cool. This, I was able to do this just fine. And then from there, I got a chiropractor. I'm not sure if my next one was either a chiropractor or mortgage, but those were the 2 main industries that I was focusing on moving into, like that type of passive agency model.
So how were you getting your first few clients for Facebook ads, chiropractors or mortgage or whoever?
So
were you running ads?
No, I didn't run ads. So with the chiropractors, I'm not sure how I got my very first one. I know with the mortgage though, I saw an ad. I'm not sure what his name was, but this guy would always run ads all the time. And he would just try to get people on a phone call, right? And so I saw his ad. So I started going through the comments, and I saw someone who said, "I'm interested," but it was like 3 weeks old, the comment. So I was like, what happens if I contact him and I ask him if he ever heard back from the guy running the ad? So I did that, and he was like, no, never heard from him. I'm like, okay, do you want to hop on a phone call? He's like, yeah. And that's how I got my first mortgage client.
The guy running the ad was actually targeting chiropractors to say, we can generate leads for you.
Yeah. I mean, so the guy that I got as a client, he was a mortgage broker.
Oh, sorry, mortgage.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know if he was only targeting mortgage brokers or if he was targeting a broader audience, but
so you basically, that's a smart move. You basically went to a competitor who was probably having an agency like you, but was doing a poor job of fulfilling. You contacted the guys who were interested, and voila, you got your first client. Or one of the first clients.
Right. Awesome. I never actually did that strategy again to continue to get clients. Well, I should have, because obviously it worked for my very first try. But
I do that sometimes, and I teach that in my course also with SEO. There's all of these different, this Home Advisor, Yelp, and there's different SEO leads agencies who run, and then there are people like pre-service guys saying, I'm interested, and I message them, and I actually got some good results too. That's because they just say, yeah, pick me, I'm interested, kind of a thing. But
right.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome. So can you just, I'm curious, because I know you started your course I know you also run your agency, and you brought it to like a seven-figure, just some chiropractor. So walk me through the journey from where
Right.
you are till that, and then maybe we'll dive into like, I have some technical questions for you on ads, if you don't mind.
Sure. So, so I got my first client, I got the second one, I got a couple more. I started having success in, a variety of different local businesses. And so then I started posting my results, right? And that's what got me my following on Facebook. I at that time, I hit 5,000 friends. So I was like, okay, like the next thing for me was to build a group, because that's what I saw other people doing. Other people would build a group, then they sell a course, or they'd sell, coaching or something. So that's how I sold my first course. That's really the only big course that I ever pushed, was that. Um, you know, I had a lot of clients, and then I was like, okay, I don't know if I want to do clients anymore. That's why I sold digital product. Then from digital product, I did like 3 months of coaching, but I was like, this is not for me. I don't want to do coaching.
Too much work.
And then, yeah, too much work, just hand holding people. I'm like, I'm not your dad. So I took a couple months off. I took like 3 to 4 months off to really figure out, what do I really, really want to do? And I'm like, I love working with clients. Even though sometimes it can be a pain in the butt, like I've been dealing with them for, 10 years at that time. So I was like, okay, let me, restructure, let me figure out a right way to build an agency from scratch. So that way it could be passive and kind of go from there.
Hold on right there before we jump into agency work. So on the course itself, can you reveal some numbers? How many sales did you do, or revenue, or any kind of numbers you're comfortable with?
Yeah, I think I did about $420,000 in sales, and that's within maybe 10 months.
Wow. And was it mostly through your group?
It was only, so not, okay, like 99%. I did run a little bit of retargeting ads. I think I might have spent $2,000. That was towards the very end, but that was the only money that I ever spent on the ads.
This should have been 2014, 15 timeframe, because that's when I kind of connected with you.
6-7 years ago. Yeah, 2015, something like that.
I remember one of your first big students was Johnny West.
Johnny West, yeah.
Are you still in touch with him?
I haven't talked to him in maybe a year. I did reach out to him a couple of times, and we talked on the phone, but yeah, he's doing good.
I just follow him once in a while. I used to, and yeah, looks like he started his own course and all that. Because I know you were the man, because you spawned quite a few gurus who learned from you.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are well known now that either went through the course or I kind of helped them one off. But yeah,
that's what because you could have really blown this big. Like you could have become like Dan Henry or Sam Owens, like really built a big, because you knew to get results. You were not afraid to experiment. Like you were not saying, okay, I'm just a Facebook ads guy. You're now in a TikTok. We'll get to that later. But you closed the whole thing down and you figured out yourself, because you knew what you wanted, like your personality, your lifestyle, whatever, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been a technical guy. I'm not, I went through the Dan Henry course era as well. And that's how I learned a lot of, more like the sales and the psychology part of Facebook ads. But I was never, like him and Sam Ovens and a lot of these big guys, they really understand the psychology of marketing and sales. I was never that person, right? So I was like, I'm not going to go down that route. Let me just, do what I enjoy doing, which is having an agency and having that passive income.
Yeah, I think I'm similar a bit like you, because I enjoy a lot. I enjoy more reverse engineering Google, figuring out why things are ranking, why it's not ranking, stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, I like talking to people, teaching clients and all that, but given the choice, I could be by myself just figuring out things like kind of that. That's a high in itself, right?
Right.
I understand that. Awesome. So then did you tell everyone, hey, I'm closing down the course? Like, how did that go before you moved into agency?
So with the course itself, it kind of just died down, and I really didn't know how to continue selling the course. Okay. I think the mistake that I had was I opened the course. I mean, when I opened my group, I forgot, maybe actually no, because my wife got sick in 2013. So I opened up my group during that month of December. It was like right before the new year of 2013. So I sold the course, the Facebook ads course, in 2014. So during that first month, I did like $30,000 in sales.
What was the price point of the course?
So this is kind of like the mistake that I did.
Okay.
I opened the course with 2 different levels. It was $297 a month or $97 a month.
Ongoing subscription based.
Right. Like an ongoing subscription thing. Trying to think back now. This was
Right.
7 years ago. Yeah. So for $97 a month, they'd get access to the group. They get access to the course. And that's really about it. The course was just kind of like, how to do the Facebook ads, more of a technical step-by-step level. For $297, they'd get once a week coaching that I did. I went live and I helped people that were struggling with the ads and the funnels and things like that. And I also provided walkthrough campaigns for people. So like my chiropractor campaign, I'd record a video. I was showing everyone how to set it up from scratch, the ads, the funnels and everything. And I did the same thing with mortgage, real estate, gyms, and a bunch of other niches. And actually, I still have all those videos in my Kajabi login.
I'm pretty sure they're very relevant right now too, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So the very first month you made 30,000, and that's almost like a recurring 30,000.
Almost. Yeah. So I did 30. Then like the next month was like 38. And then I peaked around May at like 54.
Wow.
I was blown. I mean, this is me coming from only making the most I had ever made in my web design, agency was like 21,000. I only did that 1 month out of 8 years. Every other month was between 12 to 15. I could never pass that, because it was too much. I did almost all the work. So to be able to come in and with the first month have $30,000 come in,
yeah,
then, more 40, then 50, then 54, whatever it was. I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Did you change your car, change your house, change the neighbor? Like, what did you do?
At that time, I mean, we moved, from house to house. I mean, we moved 18 times.
Wow.
But I think probably got a Mercedes and, just
nice.
Just traveled.
I remember that was when I got into your free group around 2014 is late 2014. I got into online marketing and I was, I was in SEO, but I was also like shiny object, everything, right? Facebook ads, whatever else came in. And I was in your group and I would see, I vaguely remember now that you say 97 a month to 97 a month. I don't even know what I bought. I bought something.
I could go back to Stripe and check, but I don't know.
I don't want you to say, hey, wait, you didn't pay me. Like, no.
You might see a charge come in the morning.
So then you took 3-4 months off and figured out, okay, what do you want to do with your life? What do you love doing? And you decided, I love client work more. So
right.
The course slowly kind of phased away.
Yeah, it phased away. I didn't really, I didn't know how to continue moving it forward with the course. Now, I think thinking back now of how I built it, it was more of a technical step-by-step training, which would have never really gone more than what it did, I think. And then just not understanding how to continue on the sales and run ads and, take people through that journey. Because someone who wants to know how to set it up, I mean, they'd go through once, they pay 1 month and then they stop, they wouldn't need it anymore. So also the sustainability of a technical course to get people to pay, for 12 months nonstop. I mean, that's very hard.
Wow. Okay. All right. So then you decided, okay, I'm going to start an agency.
Right.
Yeah. So a whole brand new agency.
Right. So after the course, I figured, let me do a little bit of coaching and see how that does. So I did that for a little bit. And then, 2-3 months I stopped, wasn't happy. Then took some time off and then regrouped myself. And then that's why I built the chiropractic agency. That was 2000 and I believe 18. So it's been about 3.5 years, I think. Yeah.
Okay,
3.5 years.
Okay. That's when I started hearing the horror stories of you generating these 1-cent leads and crazy stories for chiropractor.
Right? The good old Facebook days.
Because literally, you won't believe this, Danny. What's it today? Okay, 2 days ago, I went to a chiropractor because I kind of have a stiff neck. I'm talking to him and I'm saying, I always talk to people, right? So I say, I'm in Google and he runs ads and all that. And he says, his words to me, the best thing the best way to generate leads for chiropractors is Facebook ads. And so I'm like, okay, so are you doing that? Either I know that's the best way. I've tried it. It doesn't work. That's exactly what he said, right? And I'm like, okay, so because and the reason I'm saying this is and I'm an organic SEO, organic traffic guy. I have invested a lot of money, learned some Facebook ads myself, paid Facebook ad experts. I literally haven't seen the ROI in Facebook ads that I hear that's possible outside. 10x, 7x, 5x the money. So I want to of course, I want to hear the story of how you grew your agency, number one, but also if you can dive into what's the secret behind Facebook ad? Is it the ad? Is it the creative? Is it the copywriting? What is it? Is it the targeting, right? I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but maybe let's start with your agency first. So you started the agency and you scaled it. Let's talk about that and then dive into these if you don't mind.
Yeah. So with the agency, got the first client, and so my one of my chiropractors in Alabama, she posted, I think she made a post or I made a post, but it was in the ClickFunnels group. And, I think I made a post and then she tagged me and she was like, I need help or something like that. So that was like the first client. I still have her, by the way. That was the first
still a paying client.
Yeah, still a paying client.
So you still have your agency running pretty good.
Oh yeah, no, it's pretty much passive at this point. I mean, the only thing, what I focus on my agency right now is what's the next stage that it's going to.
Got it. Okay.
And right now it's transitioning over to TikTok ads, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yes. So your first client, this lady, she saw your post, reached out to her. What was the ads you ran for her and general ads you run for chiropractors? Is it, just go over that? Like
so generally any ad for any chiropractor, it's usually going to be, for example, it could be like $37 for a health screening, so a health screening, to them, they understand the concept because when they used to be able to do events at fairs and things like that, Walgreens, Walmart, they would do, screenings. They would see the person, check them over and see if they could be a candidate for chiropractic, care. And then from there, they take them to the office, they make an appointment schedule and go through a thorough exam and x-rays and consultations and all that. So essentially that's what we took, that concept of what they are used to doing, which is a screening, but that, someone will be signing up for that online through the Facebook ads, and they'd come in. Most of the chiropractors will only take 15 minutes with them initially, and then they would schedule the full examination. Nowadays, a lot of times they kind of skip that part because they're used to, they've been able to do it for so long, they can refine their process. But back then that's kind of like what the process was. So it was like, $37, $27, sometimes $19.
Is there an upsell to that? Is there a back-end recurring funnel there?
For them?
For the ad itself. So they buy the $37. Is there an upsell next page saying, by the way, one-time offer, $99?
No. So until recently, they would never pay for anything. They would only opt it in.
Got it.
Yeah. So they would opt in. What I did was, because most people back then, when they were doing the lead gen campaigns, and I think Billy Jean was probably one of the first ones to teach it. Mm-hmm. He got someone opt in, and then on the next page, he would have a button that says, click now to schedule your appointment and get a free, because he was into gyms, right? So get a free, workout towel or something, right? Training session or something. Yeah, or free personal training session or whatever. So I was like, okay, that's kind of cool, but like, what if I could get them to schedule an appointment online? So I believe I was one of the first ones to actually get the calendar. I used Calendly, and I would embed it on that, thank you page, and I'd get them to book an appointment.
Awesome.
And from there, it blew up.
So customer / prospective patient, they make the initiative to go and book an appointment at the doctor's calendar.
Right. They would book the appointment. Yep.
And when they do that, I'm pretty sure they're like, okay, I made the appointment, so I kind of know at 3:00 Tuesday works for me, and awesome. That's smart, right? Okay. And then is the agency still focused only on chiropractors?
Right now, no.
Okay, so you branched out, but you hit 7 figures run rate just with chiropractors.
With chiropractors, yes.
Wow, wow, that's crazy because paid ads to me, and I want to dive into this a little bit, Danny. Is I've tried it for some of my local clients. I've tried it for some of my e-commerce clients. I've tried it for my own course. It's worked. It's failed. The break even was. I mean, the ROI was a break even. Like, and in my mind, I'm like, and I can put more time into Google organic and scale it bigger, right? Or building a Facebook group for my course, stuff like that.
Right.
So what's the biggest mistake usually people make when it comes to Facebook ads, either local or any of the courses or coaching or e-commerce, doesn't matter. Like, what's the biggest mistake that others make that you think we shouldn't do, and what you do different?
So I think it's a little bit different for each, kind of industry. For example, for local, if you're paying an agency, then you have to have somewhat of a semi high ticket type of service, even if you reverse that, like if you're an agency and you want to go after restaurants, you can't charge them $1,500 a month plus another $1,000 in the ads, because there's no way that they're going to make the money back. Unless it's like this high end restaurant that they charge like $300 a plate. Like if you do a barber, if you run ads for a barber, I mean, maybe you'll charge them $250 a month for the service. And then maybe they're going to spend $500 a month, but they're going to have to make back $750 and more.
The client you go after to run Facebook ads, they should probably have a service or a product that's a little bit of a high end.
Right. And not just Facebook ads, but any paid advertising channel, YouTube ads, Google ads, they gotta be able to make that money back, at least with one client. So that way they're breaking even with one. And then if they get 2, 3, or 4 during the month, then they're making.
So in their mind, one sale on my, whatever I'm paying Danny is justified.
Right.
Got it. Awesome. And with like, is chiropractors your biggest, the most number of clients now? What industry have you seen the most success, or your biggest?
With the most number of clients within one niche in our agency, it's been chiropractors.
Okay. Any other niche for a newbie looking to start Facebook ads?
So no, because I'm not focusing on Facebook ads anymore. I just this week transitioned over to TikTok, and
But you're not running Facebook ads at all, or
we still are. Yeah, we're still running Facebook ads for our chiropractors. But if their demographics is available on TikTok, then we've already moved them over.
Okay. So let's get to TikTok. But before that, Facebook ads 5 years ago to now, I know a lot has changed, right?
A lot. Yeah.
What's the biggest thing that has changed now? Why did you even move to TikTok? What made you prompt looking into TikTok?
So much support, ad accounts being shut down, business manager being shut down, ad cost, impressions, cost per leads, all those KPI metrics.
Got it.
For the most part. Now, I'm not going to say every single one has gone downhill, because that's not true. We still have a couple clients, less than a handful, that are not getting as good as results as they used to, but they're still very decent for what Facebook is right now. A lot of other clients, it's just died, and it's not just me. I've talked to almost every other chiro agency and other agencies, and they're all feeling it. Talk to clients, and they're seeing the exact same thing.
I'm still thinking, what made you, when was it like you were sitting and like, let me try TikTok? A bunch of 13-year-olds dancing may probably be great patients for chiropractors. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah. So my daughter, I have twins, they're 18.
Okay, that's great. Okay.
One of them, the oldest one, when she was, I don't know, before TikTok was Musical.ly. I don't know if you kind of follow the different companies, but Musical.ly was out when she was probably like 11 or 12.
Okay.
And it was just a bunch of little girls, doing dance moves with hand movements and stuff like that on Musical.ly. And that's what the platform was, right? And then later they got bought out or acquired by TikTok. And, it was still that, but it started moving into what it is now. So, you have everybody on TikTok, from little kids all the way to grandparents. in 2019, they had 650 million users on their platform. A year later, in summer of 2020, I think it went up to 850. And now, December 2021, they've passed 1 billion. And I think Facebook's at 1.3 billion.
And for almost same number of people on both the platforms. But when it comes to running ads in TikTok, it's almost like Facebook 6 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of what? Can you define those? I know you mentioned a few, but
the results, cost per leads, the metrics, the impressions, everything is like spot on. The tracking, everything is like, it's so perfect right now.
wow, okay.
It won't be like that forever, of course.
Right.
I've heard maybe within 2 years you might start feeling that saturation level, but
and it's always like that. When Google Ads first came so many years ago, I hear Gary Vee always say he bought few cents per click for his wine library, whatever. But now Google Ads is expensive. Then Facebook ads, everyone jumped into that. And that got saturated. Then YouTube ads, now TikTok ads, right? Can you tell us your first TikTok ad that you ran? You were like mind blown, and you were like kid in a candy store. Like, what was happening? What did you do? What did you see? Like, walk us through your first ad that you ran and you saw results, and you're like, oh my God, I should dive into this more.
Yeah, it was just one of our chiropractors. So TikTok right now, it's only available to target by DMA regions, which is usually like an entire city.
Okay.
So I took my best client, the one who's willing to do anything and everything. And he's in Dallas. So which is a huge city. I think it has 1.4 million people. So I took his ad on Facebook and, I changed it up because you have to change up the creative. It's all about the video. So I ran it on there and, the first day I think I got 1 lead. And then from there, I just started tweaking things and whatnot. And I was like, this is perfect.
The cost per lead in TikTok versus Facebook ads, is it 1:2? Like, can you give me some numbers?
So right now, on average, so I have a spreadsheet and I kind of look at what the average is for the whole day for every campaign that I'm running. So the average, I think, as of yesterday, was about $8 a lead for all the campaigns, which I spent about $500 for the day between all the campaigns. So I'm spending the same per client on TikTok than I was on Facebook. Most of them spend about $1,000 a month, which is 30 a day. So, 30 divided by, or 500 divided by 30, I'm running about 14, 15 different campaigns or so. I'm getting a lot of like, for the whole day, I'm getting a lot of like $2 average leads for some campaigns.
So for one client, do you run multiple campaigns, multiple ads, multiple videos they create for you?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how it is?
Yeah, we split test a lot of different things, videos that they sent us, scripts that we give them to create a videos that we've, clipped together and merged. So everything is about, if you've ran ads on YouTube, it's almost identical from the, the psychology of the video and how it needs to be done.
Can you search by intent, like in the past? So in YouTube ads, you could say people who have an interest in chiropractor, but also people who searched chiropractor in Dallas in the past.
No, there's no search. It's like Facebook. Facebook, you can't, search by someone who's searching for that intent.
Okay.
TikTok, it's very similar to Facebook where you can select categories. So the way it works is like if you're on TikTok and you're, scrolling and you like and you engage with like fitness videos, then if I selected a fitness category, then you'll probably be targeted as long as you fall within those demographics.
Okay, got it. So very similar to Facebook, but Facebook has a lot of these different targeting options, right? I can target by income, by gender, all of that. You said that's not there yet in TikTok?
Some things. So because TikTok doesn't have an extensive profile like Facebook where they ask you for, your job title and all that kind of stuff. TikTok is just, you can target by gender, age, region, those different DMA zones. And then by the engagement that they've done on TikTok and some interest.
Oh, okay, interesting. And these leads that you're generating for chiropractors, these customers or clients, are they more of a Gen Z younger generation walking into the chiropractor office, or are there 40, 50-year-olds also leads coming through TikTok?
Yeah, no, I mean, the demographic on TikTok it's there. The oldest targeting you can do is 55 plus. And there are people in every region that I've looked at that fit into that category.
And you're seeing those.
Yeah, we see leads from, I mean, we don't get the ages of the leads, but we have, yeah, the data from TikTok, they're all over the place.
And so you're so much into TikTok now that you're actually thinking of moving all, if not most of your future into TikTok.
Yeah. So, I mean, any client that is available to be running on TikTok from our, I guess, my legacy agency, I've already moved them over, and I'm already working on probably about a dozen clients for TikTok now.
They like it.
Yeah.
This is exciting because I've been seeing a post and it's crazy, and I should look more into TikTok. That's crazy. Looks like it's more of a, what do they say, a blue ocean, like an untapped, like not a lot of people are into it right now.
Yeah, there really isn't right now.
It's crazy. All right. Do you have any plans so what are your future plans? Are you scaling your agency? Are you planning to start a course? Do you teach TikTok?
No, I've probably been asked from about 40 different people if I have a TikTok course, or if I could do a one-on-one with them. But right now I don't plan on doing that. I just plan on scaling the agency and seeing if it'll run for another 3 to 5 years like that.
Okay. Do you have any VAs in the agency? Is it just you doing all the work, or?
Yeah, no. So right now we have probably about 12 VAs. At one point, the beginning of this year, I had up to about 35, 38.
Are they almost all in the Philippines?
Yes, they're all in the Philippines, every one of them.
So 12 VAs.
Right now,
How
yes.
do you, I would imagine a lot of your time goes in managing them, like people management, no? Do you have project management?
They've managed themselves. A lot of them have been with me for a long time, so they already know what to do.
Trained.
If they have questions, yeah, because I mean, pre-TikTok ads, this was like a week ago. We still did Facebook ads, web design, SEO, Google ads for all of our chiropractors.
Right.
And the content and the SEO part is where I really had to scale. I had almost tripled my VAs. But since I'm not really going to be focusing and pushing that so much, I scaled back because I was able to kind of optimize my processes. But yeah,
Awesome. No, I remember you. So you bought my course. You got into my course because you want to learn SEO, and you were kind of upselling SEO to a lot of your clients. So it looks like now you're a SEO plus, like organic plus paid ads agency. That's the ultimate combination.
Right. So when my Facebook ads, got shut down last year, my business manager got hacked. Then my personal Facebook profile got shut down from running ads. So at that time, I knew I really had to do something different in case everybody wanted to leave, because I couldn't run the ads anymore. Luckily, we were able to, within a day or two, get another ad account and stuff like that. But that's when I was like, okay, I have to introduce SEO. And that's what I did. And then shortly this year, about February, is when I got Jarvis, the AI writing content. And I started introducing content writing, for SEO. And that's when I had to scale.
Yeah.
And hire a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. It's so right now, even though I'm still supporting that, for all future clients, it's only going to be TikTok ads.
Yeah. No, I love your train of thinking, right? I mean, you say you left school 3-4 times, you left, you couldn't hold a job. But early on, when you were just a web design agency, you knew you had to look into something else. You got into Facebook ads, right? And then with Facebook ads, after a few years, you knew you didn't want to do a course, you wanted to go agency. And then when the ads manager was shut down, you knew you couldn't depend on one thing. And you went to SEO, now into TikTok ads. The biggest problem I see with a lot of online marketers is, like, we are human beings are emotional, right? Like, I got this thing, I need to make it work. I was trained as a mechanical engineer. I need to be a mechanical engineer for the rest of my life, kind of a mentality. Whereas the future belongs to those who can kind of look at the what's happening in the world, because the world is changing like that, like new technology, right? Before
Yes.
long, there'll be a lot of these AI and robots out there, and if I don't learn, I better hedge myself against, and I can't just depend on one thing. I love that thinking that you have, Danny. Amazing.
Yeah. I've been able to pretty much like call those different trends and changes, and because like when I had my agency and then when I did the courses, before I sold my course, everyone got into growing this large group, right? So I did that. I was constantly following that. And then that's when I launched my course. When I launched my course and I started really helping people, I started really spotting which direction the agency was going. Not my agency, but just agencies in general in this circle that we're in. And everything from, selling Facebook ads, then people were selling appointments to the clients, and then they were prospecting, and then the different changes between all these issues that we've been having over the last couple of years with COVID, and then accounts being shut down, and just other stuff that's happened in the agency. But yeah, like you said, you have to adapt, because if you don't adapt, then you're just going to get swallowed.
Where do you see what's like in the near-term future, next 1, 2, 3 years? So you're looking at it, you're taking up TikTok, but is there anything else that you're eyeing? Maybe platform, social media, or totally something else that you think you may want to look into, or could be the next thing?
I mean, for me, I've just recently really started investing into crypto, and I've, because of my transition to TikTok, I've had a couple NFT projects, people that are running them that are coming my way that want to advertise.
Got it.
So I'll be starting to get into their circles and really understanding what they're doing. So, a lot of the money that I'll make from the agency is going to be investing into like just, different projects and crypto in general, to where I hope in, 3 years from now, I don't have to do the agency anymore, and I can just focus on that, because, who knows if, what happened with the whole metaverse thing,
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I got into crypto in 2017, and
Wow, nice.
yeah, it's we should talk offline sometime. But there's so much coming up. At the same time, it's like all the different coins and NFTs and tokens are like the internet boom in the 1990s. All these different websites. There'll
Right.
probably be a fall, a bust, and then there'll be a 3 or 4 or 5 or half a dozen or a dozen big companies, big coins, big, just like there was everything from diapers.com to shoes.com in 1999, 2000. Then the internet crashed, internet boom crashed, and then Amazon.com, Facebook, a few big ones came up, like similar to that. No, I love talking to like-minded people like you. I'm excited I want to look into TikTok ads. Definitely. Yeah. One last question before I let you go, Danny.
Sure.
Did you look into anything else? When I say anything else, any other paid ads like Snapchat, or YouTube, or any other? Have you looked into anything else, or have you not looked into it, or did you look into it and decided TikTok is the big one right now?
So we had, we run Google ads. We looked into YouTube ads as well. It just, I don't know. I didn't have that, like, like when you have, as an entrepreneur, you have like that fire burning that, like, this is really going to be like the thing. I didn't, like with YouTube, I didn't see that. Someone tried to get me over to Snapchat to test it out, but I didn't see it.
Right.
And with TikTok, I mean, at first, I knew what TikTok was about. My daughters would use it, my son uses it, but I was like, I don't see this as like, an advertising platform.
Oh, that's an awesome point. I just got reminded. I'll tell you a crazy story. So I have a couple of nieces here in Michigan, right? And they were watching these TikTok videos about this young couple, Sam and Monica. They have a million fan following and something crazy and all that. And their TikTok channel is about relationships. So he's in the UK, she's in the US. And I'm like, I know these guys. It's such a funny story. 6 months ago, the guy contacted me because he found me on YouTube, because he was doing all this. They have a YouTube channel, they have a TikTok channel and all that. And they were looking to make passive income, because this is a lot of content work. Every day they have to shoot videos and all that. and he was Googling, rank and rent and all that. And he came across my video, and long story short, he joined my course and all that stuff. But that got me thinking the power of YouTube, like just like TikTok gave you the fire, like for me, YouTube channel, like organic YouTube, it was for a brand, for an independent person, for a coach consultant. YouTube channel is huge. I mean, that's crazy. Like I have like 500 subscribers in my YouTube channel, and I've probably gotten at least 3 or 4 big clients, not just coaching people who bought my course, but like company clients,
Right.
who want SEO. So you can imagine if you have 100,000 people in your channel, right? It's just like you said, YouTube channel is big. I don't know if you looked into that, but there's a lot of active content work you got to be doing.
Yeah, no, it is. I started my YouTube channel maybe 5 years ago. Never really did much. A couple of months ago, for about a good 2 months, I produced probably about 9 different videos. So I think I got up to about 550 subscribers. But then I kind of took a break with YouTube, and
That's the thing. You gotta be consistent.
Yeah, I know you have to be consistent. And when I stopped is when I started seeing my numbers grow a little bit more. But it takes time, figuring out what you're going to talk about and editing and, all that.
Exactly. That's the thing, right? I'm just starting that. I just have a VA now who's into editing and stuff like that. So, and I'll leave you with one last thing. Just today I read this, like maybe a couple of hours ago, I read this, that there is a lady who's a TikTok influencer. She's called Miss Excel. She teaches Excel. Have you heard of her?
Yeah, I don't know if you got it from me, but I posted it.
Did you post that? Oh, great. Sorry about that. So you posted that. Right?
Yeah, 6 figures a day. Can you believe that?
6 figures a day teaching Excel. Like I was telling my wife, when I have questions in Excel, I go to my wife. I'm like, you should be doing this.
Yeah.
We live in a crazy world.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. We live in a crazy world. We live in a world. We used to live in a world 10, 20 years ago where, you had to grind for 40 hours a week, even 10 years ago, 40 hours a week to make some money to put food on the table. Now you can put a video, put out a tweet, make the same money. That's where it is.
Yeah.
This is amazing, man. Any parting thoughts for people who are looking into TikTok ads or paid ads, anything that you would say, absolutely do this, don't do this, recommend? Where do people find you if they want to, or maybe you don't want to be found? Like any parting thoughts?
If I didn't want to be fun, I'd have my face covered up. No, I mean, I think there's opportunity everywhere. Not just with like TikTok ads, but I mean, just TikTok in general. I think you have to ride that wave, that trend. Just focus on one like channel. I know there's like so many different channels and everybody wants to be everywhere at once, but it's very time consuming. And you will get burnt out quickly. But if you focus on one area of growth, depending on where your audience is, then you'll find success.
Awesome. No, that's a great
but
point.
it's all about consistency.
Yeah. Awesome. No, thank you. Thank you, Danny. This was a great interview, man. And I appreciate your time jumping in. I'm excited to dive into TikTok ads right now. Thanks again.
You got it.